Alright, so I'm going to be teaching you how to solve for circuits. So in problem number 1, we have a circuit with a 10 volt battery and a 20 ohm resistor, and we want to find the current. So we have to use our handy dandy equation, V equals IR. So we know the voltage of the battery is 10, and we know the resistor is 20 ohms. So we plug in 10 for volts and 20 for resistor. So we get 10 equals I times 20. Divide both sides by 20. So then you get the current, which is 0.5 amps or 0.5 coulombs per second. Yeah, 0.5 amps or 0.5 coulombs per second. And yeah, that's there. And that's the total current, and since it's in series, it receives 0.5 amps. So now we have a more complex series with a 20 volt battery going with a 2 ohm. We have a 20 volt battery with a current that has 2 ohms of resistance, 4 ohms of resistance, and 10 ohm resistance. So we want to know what the voltage is of each resistor and what the current is of each resistor. And I'll just tell you right now that whatever the total current is of the circuit, each resistor gets the same amount of current. But you want to know how many volts the resistors get. Well, there's one by looking at the answer, or two, I can just explain it to you. And hold on. So we have to use Ohm's law, V equals IR, which is right here. So first we need to find the total resistance. So 2 plus 4 plus 10 equals 16 ohms. So now that we have the total resistance, we do 20 volts equals I times 16 ohms. Divide both sides by 16. So we have the total current, which is 1.25 amps or 1.25 coulombs per second. And yeah, so then we do 1.25 amps, 1.25 amps with each each resistor. And then we want to find the voltage which each resistor gets. So then we use Ohm's law again, V equals IR. So 1.25 times 2 times 1.25 times 4 times 1.25 times 10. So then we get 2.55 and 12.5 volts. And when you add them up, it equals 20 volts, which was what the battery was originally, a 20 volt battery. Then we have this problem, number 3, 100 volt battery with a 20 ohm resistor, a 30 ohm resistor, and a 2 ohm resistor, and they're all parallel with each other. Therefore, each resistor gets 100 volts of battery. So we're going to just solve for the current. So you just do 100 equals 20I, 100 equals 2I, 100 equals 30I. So then you get 5, 50, and 3.3. And so that's good and dandy. We found all the current. But I want to know the total resistance. So you use the formula 1 over RT equals 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2 and 1 over R3. So it's 1 over 20, 1 over 30, 1 over 2. So then you get 1 over RT equals 7/12. You divide that by 1 and get 1.71 ohms. But then I want to find the total current that goes through this circuit. But instead of finding it by adding all these little currents, I want to just use the total resistance times the voltage to find the total current. So I'm going to use Ohm's law again, V equals IR. So 100 equals 1.71, and you divide it by 1.7, you get the total is 58.48 amps, or also known as coulombs per second. So to make sure, this is just to make sure you have the correct answer. So you add all these little currents, and it's about 58.48 amps. And now, move on to the next problem. Problem number 4. You have a combination of series and parallel. So it's like this. It's the 20 ohms and the 30 ohms are both in a series. and then the 4, 10, and 60 are a part of a parallel. So first what you want to do, well, what I would personally do, so use the formula V equals IR. So then you do, you find the total resistance of the current. So we're going to find the total resistance of these three, which are in parallel. So what you do is 1 over RT equals 1 over 4 plus 1 over 10 plus 1 over 60. Then you get 1 over RT equals 11 over 30. And RT equals 2.72 ohms. Then you add that by 20 and 17.1, which is, wait, where is it? Yeah, it's right here. 52.72 ohms. Sorry, I was looking at something else. I got a little distracted. And then you do Ohm's law, V equals IR. So we found the total current is 0.57 amps. And then, so we know these two get the same amount because they're in series. So you have 17.1 volts going through the 30 ohm resistor and 11.4 volts going through the 20 ohm resistor. So how do you solve the series? Well, again, you have to use the remaining volts to find what the voltage is that the series gets. So then you do 17.1 plus 11.4 plus x equals 30. So then you have 1.5. So then we know that each of these resistors in parallel, they get the same amount of current. Yeah, they get the same amount of, no, not the same amount of current, same amount of voltage. So then you use V equals IR, so 1.5 equals 4I, so you get 0.375, then you get 1.5 times 10, I equals 0.15 amps. Then you get this one, 1.5 equals 60I, so you get 0.025 amps, which I round up to 0.03. And so here is 0.38, here is 0.15. Yeah. This is a 0.38, 0.38, 0.15, and 0.03, which is almost equal to this current right here, 0.57 amps. And yeah, that's all I have for my little tutorial on circuits. Yeah, have a good rest of your day, I guess.